Penguin Random House Audio presents The Way Out, a revolutionary, scientifically proven approach to healing chronic pain, by Alan Gordon with Alon Ziv, with a foreword written by Tor Wager and read by Alon Ziv. This is the author, Alan Gordon. To Christy, for your friendship, collaboration, and the countless pictures of your dog sleeping in a shoe. A.G.
To Crystal, as long as we're together, life will always be good. A.Z. Foreword by Dr. Tor Wager. I didn't start out as a believer. Like many people, I was uncertain about how deeply mind-body interventions can affect the course of chronic pain, and for whom. I am inherently skeptical. But I also really want to know the answers, so my instinct is to gather scientific evidence. I have spent a good part of my career studying whether changing your mind can affect your brain and body. If it can, which kinds of changes are possible and which are not? What conditions are required to make these changes? If your thoughts do affect your body, are they large enough to be meaningful and profound enough to last? When I first met Alan Gordon, my overwhelming experience of him was that he is a believer. As a former chronic pain sufferer who has now recovered, he believes that it is possible to go from suffering from debilitating pain to being pain-free without drugs or surgery. He demonstrates that belief in action with an infectious enthusiasm and a commitment to helping each individual he works with. Over the past 2 years, I've experienced a transformation in my belief as well. I've come to believe that the right ideas about chronic pain put into practice through mind-body treatment can have dramatic benefits for many or even most people, even after real injuries that give rise to real pain. I got involved with Alan via serendipity. I had met Alan's colleague, Dr. Howard Schubiner, several times at scientific meetings. I'm a neuroscientist studying pain circuitry with functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI. I remember Howard telling me, "We have this treatment that really works. We've been helping people recover from chronic pain for years. You should study that." It didn't click. I'm fascinated by mind-body interventions, but we were studying basic brain circuits with no funding or infrastructure to study patients. My graduate student, Yoni Ashar, and I had been brainstorming topics for his PhD dissertation. Yoni suffered from chronic back pain for several years, which made back pain a personally meaningful topic of study. This is where the serendipity begins. Howard got in touch again with fMRI imaging results from a patient who showed dramatic improvement after Alan's treatment. The results were tantalizing. They showed changes in the medial prefrontal cortex and the anterior insula. These areas of the brain are connected and part of a network that assigns personal meaning to input that comes from the body. These areas have also been among the most frequently identified in studies of chronic pain. It seems as if part of the problem for many people with chronic pain is the significance the brain attaches to pain and the things that might cause it. We decided to go for it and start a study on Alan's treatment in people with chronic back pain. We started with modest goals. At first, we planned to scan just a few people undergoing treatment. Then Yoni attended Alan and Howard's weekend training course and saw the power of the treatment in action. Meanwhile, Alan started a crowdfunding campaign that generated both money for the study and, even more important, excitement from people who really wanted this to happen. I found some additional grant funding, and we expanded the study even further. We ended up conducting one of the largest fMRI studies of back pain to date. We did this with about a quarter of the funding that it would typically take because everyone, Yoni, Alan, Howard, and our terrific research assistants, Lori Poliski, Zach Anderson, and others, believed in the importance of this project and put their hearts and souls into getting it done. The results of our study are what turned me into a believer. After being in chronic pain for, on average, 11 years, the majority of patients were pain-free or nearly so after a month of treatment. And so far, they appear to be staying that way. Let me be clear that there are still many questions to answer. For which kinds of pain and which kinds of people are such results possible? What are the active ingredients? And how much does improvement depend on who is delivering the treatment? How strongly does improvement depend on a patient's openness to being cured? Chronic pain has multiple causes in the body and brain. We do not yet understand these, and we simply cannot measure pathology well enough in humans to determine the best treatment for every individual. But we did our best to make our study a rigorous, objective, unbiased test of how well Alan's treatment works, and the data showed that people got better. Even more interesting is what this study and others tells us about chronic pain. This is a spectacular time for the neuroscience of pain, with studies demonstrating unequivocally that injury produces changes in the nervous system at multiple levels, in the body, in the spinal cord, and in the brain. Higher-level brain centers associated with mood, memory, and long-term planning can block pain or enhance it, drive recovery, or make pain chronic. In humans, those higher-level centers create our personality, our emotions, and our sense of who we are and where we belong in the world. So in a very real way, chronic pain is entangled with our understanding of what the pain means to us and our outlook for the future. This does not mean that pain is not real. Pain can have real causes in the body, spinal cord, and brain, and still be treated with a mind-body approach because all these levels are connected. The neuroscience of pain has demonstrated that the causes of chronic pain may be different from the causes of acute pain after injury, and may in many cases reside in the brain. Mind-body treatment can help us understand what kinds of movements and activities are okay, even in the presence of pain, which in turn can help our brains unlearn chronic pain. What is remarkable about Alan's treatment in particular is that information is a large part of the cure. New information can change our beliefs about the causes of pain and the narratives we tell ourselves about it. Often this change can take work and practice, but it can also happen suddenly in a flash of insight. I've witnessed this personally. One member of my lab had shoulder pain for several years and seems to have been cured after hearing about these techniques. Another friend and colleague, through talking with Yoni about our research, also came to a new understanding about her chronic pain. She experienced a dramatic healing and told me that this transformation saved her life. In the book How to Know God, Swami Prabhavananda and Christopher Isherwood distinguish between different kinds of beliefs. One kind of belief is faith. With faith, we must believe in the absence of, or in spite of, evidence provided by our own senses. The second kind is provisional belief. When learning to meditate, they point out, one must believe in its benefits only enough to give it a try. It's this second kind of belief that I urge you to adopt. You don't have to have faith that chronic pain can be cured. You just have to believe enough to start working with the ideas in this book with an open mind. Try it and see what happens. Tor Wager, Distinguished Professor of Neuroscience, Dartmouth College.
Chapter 1. This Kid's Brain Could Change the World. He's in a ton of pain. His parents are desperate. Do you think you can help? It was December 2016, and I just received a call from CBS's The Doctors, a long-running medical talk show produced by Dr. Phil. For this particular episode, they were trying to help Casey, a 16-year-old with chronic abdominal pain so severe that it would regularly cause him to pass out. Casey's doctors were baffled. As the director of the Pain Psychology Center in Los Angeles, I specialize in treating chronic pain and other physical symptoms. The producer on the phone wanted to know if my team and I might be able to help poor Casey with his pain. 2 years before, Casey was a run-of-the-mill ninth grader at John Burroughs High School in Burbank, California. He loved baseball and Star Wars. He hated algebra and chemistry. He seemed on track for your standard high school experience until about 3 months into his freshman year, when he felt a stabbing pain in his stomach. Thinking it might be appendicitis,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?